Leva deposited his bicycle on the footpath and surveyed the surroundings. In the distance, about 2 kilometers away, he spotted a young aspen forest, with a field path leading towards it. The path was marked by 2 parallel strips of crushed grass, with a long ridge of grass standing upright between them, forming a distinctive Mohican-like shape. The rest of the space was decorated with flourishing sunflowers arranged in neat rows, resembling slender soldiers in their yellow-green attire. Above the sunflower field, the sky showed a piercing blue expanse punctuated by the dazzling white orb of the sun. Leva shielded the gleaming screen of his smartphone with his hand and scrutinized the icons. No mobile network coverage was available. There was not even a mobile network here, so Pavlandi deceived him. Leva muttered some expletives at his friend, then cursed his grandparents' village and parents, who had left their son in this wilderness without communication. He paused and, from the corner of his eye, he saw movement. Someone was among the sunflowers. The village tales that his grandmother used to scare him resurfaced. These were about noon girls and glares who would put children in bags and take them away, or steal things from someone's garden like sunflowers. At 17, Lev remembered that he was a strong swimmer and could carry anyone on his shoulders. He looked at the sunflowers and suddenly felt a burning sensation on his cheeks. The sun wasn't responsible for this feeling. Between the tall stems, he saw a girl's head, shoulders, and back, naked. After thinking for a moment, he shouted, "Hey! What are you doing here?" The sunflowers stopped moving and the girl came out on the path. She wasn't naked, of course. A yellow-green dress revealed her shoulders, arms, and part of her back while covering her chest and legs completely. Her hair was in a strange style, a lot of buns of different lengths and thicknesses, held together with yellow elastics, and her face had a lot of freckles. She was cute and stood slightly taller than Lev himself. "I am aware of your identity," said the young woman. "You are Leva, the grandson of Aunt Tanya Safonova from Moscow." "Indeed, I come from Dubna," replied Leva, "but I don't remember meeting you before." The young woman smiled and explained that she was also a visitor. "My name is Palia," she said. Leva smiled back, thinking that the name suited her well. Curious, he asked what brought her there and if she also fished. "No," she replied, "there's no network here, so we'll have to go somewhere else." She pointed to the forest. "Over there is a hill, and my phone works there. I just took a selfie of sunflowers, which I adore, just like Van Gogh." Leva agreed that they were beautiful. Why did she need a network? It was peculiar that someone would need to explain why someone with a smartphone needed a connection. Leva thought, "To check your email," he said, "I correspond with a young lady from America who is enamored by me and cannot live a day without writing. This is how we communicate via Skype, but the internet here is unreliable." He sighed. Palia seemed to accept Leva's explanation, saying, "Then let's go. I'll take you to the hill where your Skype might work better." Leva reached for his bike, but Palia stopped him, saying they could walk through a field of sunflowers instead. The girl asked if anyone would steal her things and Leva answered that it was likely the boys from the village. Palia shook her head and said they wouldn't go that far. She responded, "Because they fear the noon." But Leva asked, "Don't you fear it too?" Palia replied, "I'm not a child anymore. I'm a woman. The noon can't hurt me." A question formed in Leva's mind, but he held it back. He noticed a faint blush on her cheeks. Palia took his hand saying, "Let's go." Her hand was small and dry and chilly. It felt nice. They continued walking. It seemed Palia knew where she was going. The sunflowers didn't brush her shoulders with their heavy heads or scratch her with prickly leaves and stems. Rather, they moved out of her way. Leva watched her, a sweet feeling stirring within him. All of a sudden, Palia stopped and sat down, pulling on Levin's arm and whispered, "Hide." Levin awkwardly sat down. "What's going on?" "Shoo! It's tea time." The girl gestured to her left. "Over there." Indeed, there was some noise. It sounded like someone was softly singing. The words were indistinct but definitely female. "She won't hurt you," Levin said, joining in an unintelligible but exciting game. "I don't think so," he said. "But you could try." "Oh, come on, what are you talking about?" "Yes, I do. Often." "Well, then that's okay," Polya said as she started to stand up. But Levin pulled her down again and she sat back down, neither laughing nor making faces, appearing serious and kind. "Are you sure you haven't?" "Yeah, I'm sure." Totally," Polya replied. In the blink of an eye, her limbs underwent a sudden metamorphosis, transforming into thick, verdant ropes that entwined Leva's body. From beneath her skirts, golden tendrils sprouted, resembling roots. They swiftly enveloped Leva's legs in a cocoon-like embrace, and her once adorable tresses transformed into diminutive straw figures that leapt to the ground, swiftly scaling her garments and clambering into her mouth, silencing her cry before it could fully emerge. Leva's violet-black eyes dilated to an extraordinary extent, acquiring a faceted quality akin to that of an insect. The freckles on her skin began to shift, darkening and transforming into scales made from puffy sunflower seeds. Valentina completed the final verse as she descended from the sunflower field and stepped onto the road. She felt elated. The telephone had worked without interruption and she and her husband had successfully settled the bill. Pashka announced he would return home early, which was very gratifying. As she walked, something metallic caught her eye. Was it a bike? She wondered who it could be. Children didn't usually come this way and adults preferred more reliable modes of transport, so they wouldn't leave a bike in the middle of a field. Valentina shielded her eyes from the sun with her hand, but when she looked again the bike was gone, leaving only the swaying sunflowers as if a dog had just run through them. She concluded it must be an illusion caused by heat and continued singing.